Everyone, how are you? I hope you're all doing well. I don't even know how things get that busy. Do you know what I mean? You're just like, you think you don't have much scheduled, and then all of a sudden 4 or 5 days pass, and you're like, wait a minute, what day is it? I don't know. Is everybody else's life busy? Just busy, I tell ya. So anyway, I left off the other night. I had to walk away because I was just so mad at the reality of what had happened here due to Betty Paparazzi plopping down in my state. Um, Now, so Betty, if I were to call you, so this is why I have to have this open letter here, part two. If I were to call you, you'd get all edgy and mad and scream and call me names and say that I'm a cockroach and all of this stuff when I'm just telling you that nothing that you're saying is adding up, okay? Number one, you're sitting there saying that you're in Minnesota from this video, this quick rundown, Maddie Kingsbury, what happened, quick live. You're trying to say that you're dodging a tornado, but there were no tornadoes in Minnesota on the Monday that you're saying that you were here. You were saying you were here when? Monday, well, Mother's Day. So you were saying that you were here like the 15th, the 14th, the 15th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. You're real vague because you made it sound to everybody else that you were coming up to Idaho. And okay, there was another hearing. Not that you learned anything in Idaho because you don't even know how to say wazoo. You say wasso, wasso. And if you actually were there to try and get the pulse and the tempo and really understand and dig into the culture and how and why what happened will change things forever there, as essentially the innocence of that college town is forever taken away. You stood there and moaned about your hands being cold until somebody else sent you money to get you mittens, and that's where you didn't even take it in to realize that that's WSU. People call it wazoo. So when you were saying wasso, I I was bewildered, and then to find out that you were telling everybody you were going back to Idaho and you're doing all your fundraising to everybody who will give you $1 because you don't have a job of your own. You are self um, propelled by all donations. You don't earn $1 of your own. That donations are everything that you get. So if you don't bag on the internet, you don't get any money. YouTube can be taken from you in a second. Oh, sorry, I know that because you struck my channel down in November, because I dared to ask you a question then. So this is the only way that I can pose questions to you. So you had everybody believing that you were going to Idaho, and you're trying to be so sneaky and everything so nobody gets warned and can and tell people. Why would that be? If you were known as somebody who was reliable and who was actually helping victims and actually somebody who could get word out on a platform, shouldn't every other word out of your mouth be the crime that you are covering? Shouldn't you be telling everybody exactly where and when you're going to be because you are going to go and help with this case? Or would it be that you had no intention other than to act like a insolent teenager that went to grandma and grandpa and said, "Grandma and grandpa, can I have some money? I want to go to the movies and see Wizard of Oz with my friends because, Wizard of Oz is so special to you, right? And I know that you would like to have me go see Wizard of Oz, right? Right? So if you'll just give me some money, I'll go see Wizard of Oz." But you had no intention of seeing Wizard of Oz. In fact, you wanted to go with your other teenage friends to go and see the rated R movie that your parents and let alone grandparents would have never let you see. So you go to the movies and you see the movie you're not supposed to see, but you go over and you grab a ticket on the floor from Wizard of Oz and get some memorabilia or something. And so you can go and tell your grandma and grandpa, "Oh, thanks for letting me go to see Wizard of Oz. I have the ticket here to show you I went." That's what you did. Because when you're sitting there saying that you're in Minnesota and blah, 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 and there's tornadoes, there weren't tornadoes on that day. Now, I don't want to totally speak on that because I live a little distance away from there, and sure, something could have popped up somewhere. So I don't want to say definitely, but the thing is that there were tornadoes in Iowa that day. There were tornadoes in Iowa, and there was a Trump rally that was canceled in Iowa. So, did you plan on doing two Trump rallies on your sponsors, political sponsors' dime that you told them you were going to Idaho for, but then you'd be able to go and drop in like the paparazzi to Madeline Kingsbury's search so that you could say that you were there, take footage? Is that what you did? Because that's exactly what I think you did. I think you're in Iowa. I think you're in Iowa when you're filming this, and I think that there were tornadoes in Iowa that day. It's ridiculous because you are trying to be sketchy and cute and where you're going and everything, and that is theft by deception. You are raising money from people who think that you are going there to help, and it costs money to help. Do you know that every search organization out there is organized by volunteers that are working their butts off, that are getting organized equestrian searches, that are doing everything that they can do? They all know the proximity that he could have went because there was a blizzard the next day. One of the worst we've ever had. The day that he was out for 3.5 hours, there was a significant storm. The state patrol did not want us on the roads because there were already too many wrecks. They couldn't even get to them all. So it's significant that he was out. And yes, we know exactly where his van went. We know all of that. I covered all of this by all of everything from never asking a cent from anybody and from my computer and watching, and you could do the same. You don't need to be asking for money from anybody. What you did when you came here is you messed up something that was so significant. The Mother's Day search for Madeline was going to be the big one. The weather had been terrible for so many of the other searches that had to be canceled. So the Mother's Day search was the first time the weather was going to be beautiful and people were going to put aside their Mother's Day plans to go and search for a missing mother. And the way that the searches are done is they are all signed up, they are all organized. People have very strict rules and they stand shoulder to shoulder. They know what they're doing. They don't have some wish list with all of these night goggles and all of this stuff. What do you think you're going to find with all of those things on your wish list? Who do you think you are? Honest to God. I've never seen anybody beg so much and lie so much. This is stuff that you learn in grade school. I don't know. I apparently you're younger than me, but you look older than me. I'm not showing my face because you know what? No one needs to see that. Everybody hates my voice as it is. I commend you for coming on looking like that. I mean, I would never come on looking like you do right now. It's oh my god. Honestly, you are the kind of woman looking right now that a one night stand, I'd look over and chew off their arm rather than roll you over to wake you up. They just run. How can you be so confident? And the reason why you are so unattractive is because you lie. Liars get more and more unattractive the more they lie. It eats their soul from the inside out, and that's what's happening to you. So, when you came into town with your pretend official press stuff, they were already warned. Families across the United States are all warned now. All police departments, everybody, everybody knows you because you have insulted so many families in such a short amount of time that now, whenever there is a higher profile case, they warn about somebody like you coming around with an official press thing, going and trying to get information out of them, treating this like it is a sport, treating this like it is some kind of contest. Like, what are you gonna do if you find her? Is that what you want? Then you think that that'll make you famous? Is that what it is? Because you're acting like this is Pokemon Go or you're geocaching or something, and this is some kind of lost treasure. This is somebody mother. Two little kids lost their mother. I don't know why you're trying to act like these things that you discovered are new because they're already things that are in the news and that I've already put on my channel over a month ago. So you baffle me. You're baffling, Betty. I just I don't even know what. All right, you know what? I'm gonna let you talk a little, Betty. I'm gonna let you talk, and we'll see how you're doing today. I'm gonna go ahead and because this is still when you're sitting there saying you're in Minnesota, but you're saying you're running from tornadoes, which there were no tornadoes. So I think you're in Iowa, but I don't know. I don't know. You don't tell the truth. The thing is that you know what? If you wanted to just sit there and talk about politics and have people give you donations to go to the rallies, they probably would. You wouldn't have to go around and be the paparazzi and exploit other people's nightmares. They called off the entire search and the whole organized event, everything, because they didn't want you coming and getting the pictures that you were trying to get so that you could go home and say, oh, yeah, look at what I did. I was here for the search. I did this. I did this. Oh, look what I did. Yeah, I was a part of that search. And you're not doing it for the good of humanity like the volunteers are, like all of the volunteers are, and the ones that actually have nonprofit organizations. You acted to all of your vulnerable adults like it costs money for you to go there and they need to buy you new socks and shoes and everything and boots and pens and everything so you can write bad things about anybody who tries to say this. Theft by deception. That's what you're doing. Theft by deception. Maybe I should call the FBI. Hmm. Maybe I will. Maybe.
And that is the drive. Adam says that he left the house around 10 a.m. in the morning and he did not return back until 1:30 because he had to run errands.
We know.
We learned from law enforcement that
you gotta get notes.
We're eating soft food that doesn't require you to have a strong jaw like we used to have.
You know, there are so many ads on your thing, Betty. What the hell? And why do you have to get
Called
notes
mewing, and it literally changes the structure.
Why do you have to get notes? You should know this by the back of. You should know this because
we learned from law enforcement that he traveled to County Road 12 and Highway 43 in Winona County, and he went southbound on Highway 43 to the eastern part of Fillmore County.
Old news.
And then he traveled back Highway 43, and he traveled from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. 3.5 hours.
We know.
We drove that 45 minutes. So round trip there and back is 1.5 hours.
Who's we?
So that left him 1.5 hours.
Who's we?
Unaccounted for. And I did realize the reason why I believe they saw him and knew that that van was at County Road and Highway 43 is because when I went there was a fire station on that corner.
No duh.
There was a fire station.
Yep.
So they do have video footage.
Yes, we do.
They do have video footage. Not a lot. In their area, it's I want to say about 20, it's under 25,000 people that live in that particular area. In this area that he was going, the eastern part of Fillmore is desolate. When you enter into that area, it has a population of like 1,800. There's like one Family Dollar there.
Oh no, only one Family Dollar. And
I'm sitting here thinking and scratching my head and saying everything he would have needed. I mean, they don't have.
Okay, do you define all cities by how many Family Dollars they have, ma'am? How do you think that we know where he was going? Why do you think that the news put out very specific questions as to if they saw that van and when and which direction? This is old news. This was put out right after she went missing. Why are you acting like you discovered something? This was all posted the beginning of April, and you're trying to act like you've just discovered this and you needed to fly out here to find this out. Why? What's that? Why did you need to take the money from the people? Why?
They don't have like cows. They don't need feed stores. Their house is not really that big where they could have a whole lot of animals. So I don't see them going to a big type of store, but they would have one closer to them in Winona.
Why would we be talking about what kind of animals they have? And what does that matter? We know that after they dropped the kids off at daycare, they both went back to the house. He left. She didn't. He said she wasn't feeling good and stayed home. We have that That's why there's a very specific area. That's why law enforcement has worked with the homeowners, because it's so rural and there are areas that have been flooded and there are areas that are unsafe to walk. They don't want anybody else getting hurt. That is why all of these searches are extremely concise. The police have already had the landowners search their property, so there are very little and specific areas that they want searched, and they will do that at certain times with all of the people who have everything organized down to a science. There are more volunteers than they need. I offer, I know that other people have offered, and they say we don't need any more at this time. We're going to do this from this time to this time. And then, like I said, the big search was supposed to be there, but because Betty Paparazzi came into town, they canceled it. And good. So you couldn't get that picture. Like going to stay at Grandma and Grandpa. Look at, I went to the Wizard of Oz movie. Exactly like that. Theft by deception, Betty.
Nona. There was nothing there. There was like a Family Dollar and a gas station and a bunch of
Yes.
silos and farmland.
Yes. And that gas station has cameras. So we know from those two. And that's about it. But that's why they're asking anybody else who has any kind of other cameras, which I've described when I've already covered this and I didn't ask anybody for any money. Doesn't cost any money to do that. So just be honest. Jesus, you look like Herman Munster. Whoa. You really literally look like Herman Munster here. I'm not kidding. You look like Herman Munster. Whew. You're brave going on camera like this.
And I kept the whole every time I kept driving, and you might even hear my commentary if I release the commentary portion, just don't use it as a video. But I'm sitting there like, what errands would he be running here? Based on this, the travel from county, he was at County Road, the intersection of County Road 12 and 43, and there was a fire station right on that corner. And then they said he went down, and also southbound Highway 43 is also I-90 West. So you get on kind of like the interstate, and you just follow Highway 43. So
You're creating a word salad because you know that you feel guilty for not being where you were supposed to be as you raise the funds. You're trying to act like you've discovered this by you going out there, trying to play Scooby Doo out there and get a clue. You didn't. You lied. Why can't you just be honest? I mean, people might really like that. You might even be bigger than you are right now to go and be Trump rally Betty and go out there with your blowhorn and yell Trump words and do whatever you want. But I can tell you, Trump, you're not Trump's type. Anyway. Um, why not just be honest? Why are you trying to infect the true crime community? You don't want to work with anybody. You don't want to look at anybody else's um work and build on it, or have another creator on a channel with you and talk about things, and so what do you think you're going to do? Well, what you did is you caused a lot of heartache. You caused a lot of people who had changed their plans to have to cancel them last minute. You may have affected a crime scene going colder than it already is. What if the whole search that was finally organized, where it had everybody coming from the adjoining states, all of the law enforcement, everybody was coming? What if, because you came down here like the paparazzi, going and trying to harass people, trying to get them to speak to you, what if your actions that caused this search to be canceled, what if that search would have been the one where they would have found her and there was still enough forensic evidence to explain how she was disappeared, if you will? What if your actions caused that? Would you have any guilt? Do you see what you're doing to people? Do you see how you're affecting communities? Stay in your own lane. There's enough crime around you. And I mean, Can't you find something in your area to do? Or just be the full time Trump girl? Like I say, you would probably do better doing that. Your deception has hurt too many people, and it's time to stop.
When Highway 43 turns off of I-90, you follow that. It's all farmland. The internet. I had my phone on me and I had my hotbox or my hotspot on me, and neither one of them work. And I had to drop one of the
So
maps
what?
off, and I was freaking out because I'm literally in the middle of nowhere. I have no internet or barely. I think I had a bar, maybe a bar.
That's why you shouldn't be out there. And that is exactly why law enforcement does not want any of us out there. They don't want any of us out there because there is so little internet. They don't want anybody else getting hurt or lost or anything else in this search. That is why they do not want us out there. You are not supposed to be out there. And look at, you're not even looking at your chat. You have all of these people over there. They're just talking to each other, wishing each other um, happy Mother's Day and stuff. They're not listening to what you're saying about Maddie. I don't know what you're doing. Do you know what you're doing? And how come so many of them say Happy Mother's Day? I didn't think you were a mother, but maybe you are. I don't think you are.
On one or maybe a bar on the other, but like a bar. I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I'm thinking, and you can imagine if Turkey Man is in here, I owe the customer a lot of money. Okay, just FYI, a lot of money because and I need a lot of prayers because I don't know what was flying out of my mouth. I'm like, you have got to be kidding! Not right now, not right now. You know that whole panic, that whole panic thing. But no internet. That's why I didn't go live from out there. I think I could have gone live from in front of their home, but typically I like being on a sidewalk. And in front of their home and across the street, there are no sidewalks. It's just a road. You
Dear
can park in
God,
the road. So there.
you wanted to be in front of their home. You like to go in front of the home, and you like to have a side. Let me back this up. What exactly were you going to do in that neighborhood? So you came there not to, you didn't organize anything with law enforcement. You didn't say, hey, I have a platform of this many. A lot of people are interested, and they are going to fund me coming up in an airplane and $50 a meal and hotel. And I'm going to come here and I would like to help. So, can we set up a time where, you could maybe talk to me, whatever? No, you want to go to the neighborhood in a very quiet, rural community. You want to go in the neighborhood and you're trying to get on their sidewalk. Gee, deja vu. I think you've done this before, like when you struck my channel at Leilani. Oh, yeah. When you wouldn't let the person in hospice die peacefully. Yep. Yeah, I remember that. Hmm. What would you have done? What would you have gotten accomplished by going to their neighborhood? Do you think that that neighborhood isn't hurting? They're used to seeing two beautiful little kids, and those little kids are not there anymore. They're used to seeing their beautiful mom, two little kids, and their father. They're used to seeing a little family that was there trying to make it. And Maddie was into arts and crafts, and she was just that mom. She did everything for those girls. Well, for her kids. I mean, what were you going to do? Why were you trying to get on the sidewalk? And then did you go and approach neighbors? Is this how then this happened? What? Ugh. Oh, you give me a headache.
Is that kind of easement that I could have set up in the road. And there wasn't a lot of cars, but I'm one of those vibe people. So I always, it's one of the creative things that,
What?
I can always
Why?
tell when is the appropriate time to do what and what do I feel is appropriate, right?
What?
And so in this particular situation, I didn't think it was appropriate to set up there. And not only that, but for safety issue, not that the community was unsafe. The community is beautiful. I had an opportunity to meet with one of the neighbors,
Oh,
and he's a
damn
little
you.
rough.
Oh. An opportunity to meet with one of the neighbors. So you were doing that. You vile, nasty. Oh my God. So you started going around canvassing the neighborhood. Nice. Nice. What you're going to do is you're going to compromise an investigation. What don't you understand? Yes, this is probably a situation in domestic violence called separation violence, whereas I'm sure that you would have told her to read the book Letting Go, and to um to get up and walk out or whatever. But anyway, of course, Maddie went and got full custody of the kids. She was moving out. This was a separation assault. It's a term in domestic violence. Maybe you would want to read up on that. It's pretty clear what happened. Do you think that you need to be going and asking the neighbors so that then those neighbors cannot then be questioned in a court of law during a trial as to what they saw because they spoke with you and you could infer something and their testimony is no longer pure? That is not for you to do. That is for people who actually are law enforcement. Journalists, real journalists and official press, are humble to the victims and the victim's family, and they want to tell the story when it is needed, and they let the people tell the story. They don't barge down and ask questions, and law enforcement is specially trained to ask certain questions and to let witnesses be witnesses. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? You're disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
At first, kind of standoffish when I approached him. And you got to understand, it was freezing this morning. So I started out in a shirt and in shorts and flip flops. And when I packed up the car, I was fine. I drove, started heading to Minnesota, and I had to stop and get gas. And when I stopped and got gas, the wind was blowing so bad and it was so cold that I actually had to get into the bag, get my leggings, my sweatpants. I have one thin little Harley jacket, Harley Davidson jacket, just my black one with the. If anybody's seen, I think you guys have seen me in it. It's got like
Oh,
the
great. A
the
Harley jacket.
rhinestones that do the eagle. It's
Wonderful.
really nice. Anyways, so I just had that thin little jacket on, and I'm walking up to him. The hair's a mess.
Who cares if you have a Harley jacket? You don't have a Harley to ride, and you don't have a nice biker man to hold on to when you're riding it. So who cares if you have a biker jacket? What were you doing? What were you doing? Going and questioning the neighbors. Oh, at first they were standoffish. Like I said, you just compromised an entire investigation, and now there may not be those neighbors able to testify in a trial. When will you stop?
I look like a freak because I'm wearing.
Yeah, you are a
So
freak.
I explained. I was
Yeah,
explaining
you
to this
are.
guy. So I was just asking him about how the neighborhood is. Have they had
Oh,
anything like this happen? I didn't put
oh,
him on the record
really?
or anything like that. I just had a conversation with him.
Mm-hmm.
Real tall guy. He seemed really nice. He just seemed
Yeah.
a little. He's not used to people just walking up to him off the road. It's a small community and everybody knows everybody. So
Yeah.
but I did have an opportunity just to peek into a little bit. He says that the area, he loves the area. He's a lifelong resident of the area. He didn't know them. He never saw their children, but he wasn't right directly across. It's not like I don't want this to be snowballed into like they kept their children in the house. I don't know that to be true at all. It's just that he personally didn't know them because the way the house is, it was over there. And then he was like on a road in a cul-de-sac. And he just happened to be outside, so I pulled into the cul-de-sac and got out and talked to him for a little bit. So it's like he didn't really have a good eye view over there, and he's an older gentleman, so he stays in the house a lot more than probably not. Or he's up and about during the day when the kids are at school and mom and dad are at work. So but I had an opportunity to meet with him, and he says there's been just like every other community, they do have their crime. Their crime typically isn't from the people that were born and raised there. Over the years, there's been a lot of people that moved into the area that bring in some riffraff, and that does happen, especially when we in 2007, 2008, a lot of people lost their homes. A lot of people had to migrate around the United States to get situated with family that were out of state and stuff like that. So they ended up moving completely out. Some people moved completely out of their home states because they couldn't afford to live there and they had to go to family members to help, right? So
What the F does that have to do with Madeline Kingsbury? Why are you asking? And do you think that you are the. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? And would you, as a professional journalist, would you define riffraff? And where would this riffraff get displaced to then move into Winona, Minnesota? And you say it Winona like Judd. No, it's Winona. Um, I can't believe you did this. I am so disgusted.
and then of course with the whole illness, the pandemic, and everything, and people were fleeing their areas, and there was a whole shift of people moving around the country and moving out of states and moving into states, and
And your chat still has no idea what you're talking about. Your chat has no idea what you're saying. Your chat is not connected to what you're saying. You speak this babble and you use the big words paralegal, binders, paralegal, worked with a judge. And then they open up their checkbooks because they think that you know what you're talking about. And you're making a word salad. There is nothing here that you couldn't have found out by watching the news releases. No professional journalist would have done this. No law enforcement officer would have done what you've done. Leave neighbors and neighborhoods alone.
and all this other stuff. So it does happen. It brings in, a new element of people that lived in different areas that have different experiences and different strengths and weaknesses. And sometimes they bring in some riffraff. And so that's basically what he was saying. But it was a small community. It's a cute community. Seems very nice, very peaceful. Not a whole lot of stuff on the roads or anything like that. So it's just been really nice. And I had an opportunity to meet with somebody else at the McDonald's to kind of give me a little bit. Again, this was an off the record conversation. I've got it recorded, but I'm not going to release it. At least not yet. Um, but anyways, learned a little bit more about the case. So it was just finding out some information, just doing fact finding, so I can bring that information back to you. But that drive, I record.
Any and all information that you got there goes straight to law enforcement. Don't act like you have something in your special toolbox, Betty, that you're holding, that you interviewed somebody at the McDonald's there, and that you're going to release on your channel to oh, oh, like you did in Idaho for that scream video that oh yeah, yeah, this is what you do.
Recorded it. And I'm going to show you guys that drive when I get back to Florida now. So just for my audience to know kind of where how everything's going to take place is I'm not sure if I'm going to do a live tomorrow. I've got to be out of here at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I don't get home until later in the afternoon. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a very long and exhausting day for me. So it really depends if I'm going to do live. But just for all intents and purposes, if I go live, it'll just be a bonus. Just don't anticipate it. Um, and then we'll get right back onto regular schedule the following day. So it will be tomorrow's Monday, so we'll be back on schedule for Tuesday. Tuesday will be a regular coffee club. We'll be at 6:30. We're now that things are starting to pick up in the.
Okay, so you're saying this was still Sunday, then you were there. I don't I don't think that, and once again, your chat has no idea what you're babbling about. Your chat has no idea. I I really don't think that I it doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense with what you're saying. I'll let you continue to put your spell on your morons.
Brian Koberger case, and then now that we're going to be really heavily diving into Maddie Kingsbury, I want to, let you guys know that we may, depending on this, I may be popping around with my other channel as well. So what I may do is designate the main Bullhorn Betty channel for all the information related to the Idaho 4 and Maddie Kingsbury. And I think I'm going to push other news, because we talk about other news. Like, for example, we had the subway, the subway, where I'm not really getting in too involved in it. I am monitoring it and keeping you guys posted because I know it's an interesting case for you guys. And it is a passion, it's something that kind of gets emotions on both sides of the argument. So I know it's important for my audience to know what's going on in that case. So I'm monitoring that
Your
subway case as well.
doesn't
And it's
hi, hi, hello, hello, hi, hi, hello, hi. Oh, thank God Betty's all right. Oh, long live our queen. Hi, hi, hi. Have a safe trip. Hi, hi, hi. They don't even listen to what you're saying. Yeah, get that look off your face. I cannot believe you film yourself. I, I don't know. So you're going around interviewing people, and taking exclusive, and now you're talking about Idaho. You, I, I cannot believe. You know what? People just don't even know what you're talking about, do they? It it really doesn't. I have never seen anybody speak and have their chat not have anything to do with what their host is talking about. Nobody in this chat has any idea of what you're talking about. So who are you even talking to? Like I say, you're just trying to cover your butt and act like when your political sponsors, because you have to live off of all of your things because you say that you don't get disability. But I thought that you said that you had a really bad back and you had all these back problems and everything. But certainly not, because somebody with such back problems wouldn't be able to fly like that all the time. Oh, why is it that you can't get an actual job in journalism or in law enforcement? Why don't you just do that instead of um, risking a criminal um, charge or another criminal charge? Um, when I was in grade school, I don't know if they did this for you or not, because anyway, um, I think it must have even been like, second grade, maybe first or second, and we had to go door to door and sign people up that they would sponsor us for either reading books, like a readathon, or a jump rope a thon for the heart, for the American Heart Association. And we go to the neighbors, and they would say, yes, we'll pay you, 3 cents per minute or whatever, and then you jump rope, and then you go around and you go and collect that. That was to teach us honesty in fundraising and how it's done. That was a big lesson in being a responsible part of the community, even as a child, and it is teaching you right from wrong. That's the basics of fundraising that were taught to me as early as second grade. Now, what if I would have not done any jump roping, but maybe bought a jump rope, and then went around and said that I did all of these things and went and collected the money and then went and bought ice cream with that money? Would I be dishonest? The answer is yes. That's another analogy of what you have done by telling everybody that you need all this money to go up to Idaho. There's nothing that you said about anything in Idaho that is not in the news. There's nothing that you've said about Maddie that wasn't released over a month ago. There's nothing. And trying to get exclusive interviews out of people and now holding it like you have something, any and all tips should be sent to law enforcement. What are you doing? So freaking confusing.
Just some crazy news that's out there. We go, I look around different states and just kind of pull a segment of, a story for that for certain areas. So because we have people from all over the country. So I try to do that. So I'm probably, now that things are going to be coming out in these cases, it's going to be taking a lot of my time. So I think I'm going to be moving the stories, the actual other stuff other than the cases that we're actually digesting and dissecting here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. I think everything else is going to be on Bullhorn Betty crime stories.
You have never said anything that has ever mattered. Your hashtags and your titles do not match. You've never said anything of relevancy. Ever. What are you doing? And now they just think that you're talking about going home. So your chat is over here spinning itself. Hi, have a safe trip. Hi, have a safe trip. What have they talked about that they've said, oh, I did not know that about Maddie? Uh, what in the what are you doing?
So if you guys want to, and I got to try to remember to start uploading the videos. I'm so used to coming just to this channel and uploading them. But the whole purpose of me setting up the second channel is so we can have some differentiation between, stories and news, as well as, these breaking cases that we cover and dive into and start really, I'm still working with it. I'm not, this is all
Breaking and diving into what? Seriously, breaking and diving into what? You don't know anything. You've not said anything. You never have. You have never said anything that is not common knowledge. You allude that you have something, but you don't. And in this case, since you already did all of that, if you found something in your interview at the McDonald's with somebody who you may or may not release, you better give that to law enforcement. They should subpoena you.
part of the goals that I set at the beginning of the year. So some of this.
Oh God, no, because then you get another free trip back there. Oh, don't subpoena you. I I I've just never seen anybody go and interject themselves into the center of something to try to cover up for what they actually want to do. You want to go to Trump rallies. So go to Trump rallies. Say that's what you're doing. Leave families, witnesses, neighborhoods alone. You don't dissect or deep dive into anything other than your own lies.
Stuff is going to work, some of the stuff is not going to work, but we're just going to see how to grow and keep moving forward. And then there's going to be some time later after summer but before winter that I'm going to have probably about a week of downtime. Many of you know we bought the bullhornbetty.com back in I think December of 2021.
How to escape the heat if you don't have an air conditioner.
Oh my God.
This only takes 5 minutes. Tired of hot and stuffy rooms during summer? This genius way to cool any room in 90 seconds for almost zero cost is taking over the market like crazy in the US. An ingenious college kid from Phoenix just destroyed the billion-dollar AC industry.
Don't buy into this. I did, and it doesn't work.
No, 2022.
Yes.
No, it's 2021.
No, 2022.
We've been on now for almost a year and a half. I think we've hit a year and a half. I think we're at a year and a half right now. Anyways, but we set goals, and so we're one. I bought the website, and that was going to be more for. It was going to be for a few things. It was going to be for more written publication.
Oh, so over here in the chat, somebody finally asked a question, and they're not listening to you, and nobody can listen to you. That is maybe why they just give money. They're just like under some spell. They're like, I don't know what she's saying. She said she was going to say something, and she didn't say anything, but she's telling me to give money, so here's my money. Because you don't say anything that makes any sense. You just go to the Trump rallies and have fun and tell people that's what you want to do. And then you have somebody over here who says, did Olivia go her own way? And then women were ladies and men were gents. Those were the days. Who knows what she's talking about, because all it's been is hi, 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 hi. Nothing about what you're talking about. And for your link, crime stories. Why are these other people not able to get online to any other channel to find out things a month before you find them? Weird stuff here. Weird.
It was going to be more things, because I know a lot of people in my audience, they have like recipes and just something fun over there that'll keep people entertained and coming back. It'll also have like a tip sheet and I haven't I've got it visualized. I just never sat down and built the actual site. So I just need to take time, and I've been pushing it off, and now I have time. What is that about, Olivia? This is what you guys need to hate channels. You guys need to quit speculating. You guys are really terrible at it. I just want to tell you that. Absolutely terrible at it. The whole thing. You don't need to have any concern.
So there, somebody asked a question, and they didn't even put the question mark, and they got it. So as long as everybody is in the chat just ignoring her and hi, have a safe trip home, Betty. Hi, how are you? Happy Mother's Day. Hi, how are you? And then somebody says something, and then you change. You've not said anything that is not common knowledge and was reported over a month ago by me and others, because we watch the news releases and we go in and we get the documents and we procure them ourselves, all from the comfort of our own home. We pay for the subscription. Well, I do. I pay for the subscription cost myself. I don't ask anybody for any money. And now what? You have somebody in your chat who's all ready for this. BHB and Olivia have always been on their own. They are individuals and do different things, nothing more. Oh, what? Did you think they thought that you were conjoined twins? What? Just another one dumped you. That's it. And then JLR won't even, he's like now sending cease and desist to anybody who says that you guys are even friends. How embarrassing would that be for people to just like go to that length to say that they're not with you when they actually really allegedly are with you?
With me or anybody that I collaborate with. Again, it's called collaboration for a reason.
But you
I
don't
collaborate with many different people. I've collaborated with
don't.
Justice for All. I've collaborated with MJ.
Okay, no, you don't. You do not collaborate with anybody. You don't work with anybody. You don't know how. You don't know how.
Yeah, I collaborated with Dolly Vision. I collaborated
No,
with
you
Olivia. I
didn't.
collaborated with JL.
Yeah, how well did that turn out with you and Dolly? Huh? You collaborated. No, you both went and terrorized a neighborhood and made it so that the person who was just trying to die couldn't die, and you disgustingly emotionally assaulted elderly women and threatened their dog and everything else. And even after all of that, Dolly wouldn't even fuck you.
DLR. I've collaborated with Guidance has
Oh,
been. We've
there
worked
you go.
on things
There
together.
you go.
I've
You're
collaborated with,
going to get a cease and
and now I
desist
have
for that.
time. What is that about?
She just got done saying she collaborates with JLR when JLR is out there doing these things, making sure that no one says that they're related. Well, she just said JLR, so if she doesn't watch it, she's going to get her own cease and desist to JLRs and be like, "I am not your friend." Listen,
Olivia, this is what you guys need to hate channels. You guys need to quit speculating. You guys are really terrible at it. I just want to tell you that. Absolutely.
they're not hate channels. They're asking you what the you're doing with all of the money that you take from everybody, you grifter.
Absolutely terrible at it. The whole thing, you don't need to have any concern with me or anybody that I collaborate with. Again, it's called collaboration for a reason. I collaborate with many different people. I've collaborated with Justice for All. I've collaborated with MGL. I've collaborated with Dolly Vision. I've collaborated with Olivia. I've collaborated with JLR. I've collaborated with Guidance has been. We worked on things together. I've collaborated with a lot of different people. I've collaborated with just Samantha. She comes on here and helps bring some information to the channel. And we have a lot of people. Oakley Crime News. We collaborated on Athena. Getting some information out there. So this is I don't we are individual people. We work together when we have a common goal, common cause. If Olivia wants to go on a side project, who am I to stop her from doing that? And shame on you for thinking that I have to. Or should.
Shame on you, Toys R Us kid. So, kid says, "Did Olivia go her own way?" Just asking, and then it does that. You turn all red. Look at your chesticle up there, and it just the neck and chest area of you. I don't really know what that area is on you. Your breath, I don't know. It's red. It's real red. When you get mad, that chest area of yours gets real red. And so you're all red and all fired up, and these deep grooves in your face are showing a little worse. And and you're calling them a hate channel. Why would you call Toys R Us Kid a hate channel? He says, "I'm honestly not a hate channel, hun. All they did is ask you what happened, or did Olivia go her own way? Why would that bother you, grifter?"
Should. She's an independent person that's out there, and she's got a great gift and great talent. So, just you guys are horrible at speculation. Just really horrible at it, and you never get anything right either. Like literally nothing. Nothing is right. I'm honestly not a hate channel, hun. Well, first of all, let me tell you something. Toys R Us kids. This is the Bullhorn Betty channel. Okay, let me make sure we get that first and foremost. This is my channel. And when you come over in my house, you're going to be respectful to the people in that chat. You're going to be respectful to other creators here, and you're going to be respectful to me, or you can leave. It's very simple. We like to actually adult over here. We're not juveniles, and we don't like acting like teenagers. Okay, so if you want to act like that, there's
Then why are you acting like a teenager? Why are you acting like a teenager who didn't get your way? This person just barely asked a question. What is your problem? Why are you getting all red there now? Oh, we got sulky face. No, Betty got sulky face. Betty grifter.
many channels on YouTube where you can act just like that. This is not the place. So if you want to be here, be here. You're more than welcome here, but don't come here with an attitude. It really it won't work in this channel because I treat people how they treat me. You treat me like crap. Trust me, I'll send you home packing crying to your mama. Okay? I don't like going there.
What did you say? My God. Why are you single? What the fuck? Oh my God. They didn't do anything. You can look at this. They said, "I'm honestly not a hate channel, hun." And then, "I don't have a channel, no speculation or hate." They just asked about Olivia. Now, if they're not supposed to ask about Olivia, then why were you the one in front of your 1980s era big printer yelling out that one of the Idaho 4 was actually one of your own, one in the channels, and it turned out that one of the girls had actually subbed to Chronicles of Olivia, not you, but you were there in front of your printer taking credit for it, saying, "Oh yeah, and this is how it turns out. You can go from sub to victim that we're researching. It can happen to you too." I mean, gosh, everybody should be careful because they weren't sub to you; they were sub to Olivia, and you claimed it as yours. So why wouldn't anybody ask about Olivia? Just the same. You got dumped.
But you will show respect in this house or leave or be blocked. And those are the only options you have. But we like adults over here. We like adult conversations. We don't like pettiness, and we don't like the garbage from the hate channels. You guys keep that over there. You guys have enough of your own problems. Okay. Well, when I read, I don't have a channel, no speculation or hate. It sounded like you were being nasty to somebody. That's all. And if that wasn't the case, then that's it. After BH broke her tripod on the last trip to Ohio, she went solo and has been doing her own projects and broke 100K and got YouTube plaque. So it seems like Notre Dame might be the one that might be in here causing problems. You have a new videographer. So I apologize. I read that wrong. I'm sorry, Toys R Us kids. That sounds like Notre Dame. So the same thing goes to you, Notre Dame. If you want to be here, you can be here. You absolutely are absolutely incorrect about every single one of your statements. Just because you think it up here doesn't make it so. Okay, there's got to.
Oh, and they dropped the Notre Dame so you can't see it. Okay. That's what this is. They already blocked. Oh, you're going to get truth spewed at you. Truth. Oh, my word.
Be a lot more behind that. You have no idea about the facts. Why? Because you don't know any of us. You know, like, oh, I know this. Really? How do you know that? Nobody talks to you. Nobody even knows who the hell you are. You do not know. You do not know. You're in here spreading misinformation that isn't even true. And as a matter of fact, 100K, we worked very hard to get her that. So don't forget that either. Okay? We worked very hard for her to get that.
Oh, she is pissed. Oh, man.
You found the best undies subscription.
I've just got my monthly package from Slendy's and I'm so excited. These are
A
beautiful.
monthly
Let's try it
package of
out.
undies.
How bloody cute. Look at the polka dots. Why would you...
You're so mad.
So this is what I'm going to do. Guys, for my mods, if you see Notre Dame 97 in here, stirring the pot, block them. Or I will. And I apologize again, Toys R Us kids, for...
What did either of them do?
And I'm tired. I get a free pass.
We don't do high school here. Well,
but Notre Dame, yeah, you know, if you can't adult, get the hell out of here. Like, actually, you know what?
The Queen of the Stonies right there with
I'm back in here with another channel.
hair about ready
Go make
to
another account. Go make another account.
Oh,
All right,
she
guys,
had a
well, listen here.
vape
This is what I'm
after
going to do.
that.
I'm going to go ahead and
Oh,
sign
she
off. We've already been on here for
forgot
30 minutes, and it was going to be a quick chat anyways. I just wanted to let you know that we did. Oh, and just, I'm not going to show you everything, but I will show you the drive. I'm going to fast forward the drive, to be honest with you. Hold on.
Okay.
Where is it? It's like
Oh,
40.
some people just don't understand helping out somebody because you care.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's like 30 minutes. Let me get to this. I think this is the one that's really it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, here it is. So I'm going to fast forward it for you if I can. Let me see if I can figure it out. So look at that. Nothing.
Wonderful.
Nothing.
So what?
Nothing.
Oh,
What
yeah.
errands was this man running? That's all I want to know. What errands is this man running? There's nothing there. There's freaking nothing.
So what?
There's literally nothing there.
So what?
Seriously. What errands? 3.5 hours of errands in nowhere. What are we looking at now? Oh, Lexi missed it. So it is. I covered the Maddie Kingsbury case today. I went out to Winona, Minnesota,
There
and
you
went to
go.
her house. A couple things.
Where did you go? Where did you go? Listen to this.
Seriously. What errands? 3.5 hours of errands in nowhere. What are we looking at now? Oh, Lexi missed it. So it is. I covered the Maddie Kingsbury case today. I went out to Winona, Minnesota, and went to her house. A couple
Winona.
things I learned. And she's
Like
in a
Judd?
So you got 467 on the side of them. So we know that they.
Now look at her enablers. You got Emma M. Notra, are you talking about something that isn't a topic of conversation and shouldn't matter to you? What is going on in BHB personal life? When she commands money from everybody to go to Idaho, and she was interviewed at a Trump rally, which she would have never mentioned she was at. She would have made all of the fools believe that she was here in Minnesota and she just didn't want to say where she was really going because she didn't want, the haters to get to there first. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing to help law enforcement, which law enforcement doesn't want your help, why would it ever be secret? That is not raising awareness. That is not what you're so backwards. You just lie. And then you have your brain dead enablers over here.
They were obviously a contentious, something contentious, right? We have to know that it was contentious.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? We have to, it doesn't matter about, don't even worry about Notre Dame. They've been blocked. So it had to be contentious. She's leaving him. From all the reports we're hearing, she's leaving Adam. That's what we're hearing. So we have to think that the people next.
Okay, once again, this is public knowledge. This is public knowledge. The Facebook posts of her looking for a place to live and move out and talking about moving out, and the fact that she went to the court and got full custody of the children so she could go. It's all out there. What in the name of God?
If that place is either rented or purchased, we have to believe that if somebody is living there, that they've had to hear some of the stuff going on in the house. I mean, it just happened. That's just how it is. So I'm wondering about that. But that was the first thing that I thought. I didn't know that it was like a duplex. I didn't know they had adjoining, like that there was somebody that was literally attached to their house living on the other side of it. I didn't know that.
Well, if you would have been researching the case, you would have known that, wouldn't you have? And you can find that in any of, again, if you corroborate with other people who have been doing this or look at legal documents, you would find that.
So that was an interesting perspective. And then the other interesting perspective that that I wanted to get to was his travel. I wanted to find his the route. And so I read and I kept looking until I had an idea. Now there were a couple of things that I didn't get an opportunity to do. I was out there today for about, I want to say 3 or 4 hours. It was cold. It was raining. Went from raining to drizzling. It was just really not conducive. And there's no internet out there. There's none. I had a worse time because I had to adjust my my GPS, and it clicked off, and I was sitting there freaking out. I'm literally in the middle of nowhere. The car has no GPS built into it, and I have no internet to even I mean, I guess I got the map, and you know what? It's funny because I got the map, and it just.
That's because you weren't supposed to be out there. That's because it's rural, and that's because there are very specific and targeted areas to search, and nothing that you were doing out there mattered, and you did that all on other people's money so that you could go to the Trump rallies, and then say you're here. You didn't need to be here. Now, over here, the chat finally woke up because you raged. They just sit there and swarm around and say hi to each other until you rage, apparently. And now they've finally realized that you're talking about Winona, Minnesota, because now they've finally woken up. You woke them up with your rage. I mean, it was 40 minutes in, and they're just all hi, hi, hi. And then when you finally said Winona, they're like, oh, Winona, oh, okay. They have nothing. They don't know what you're saying because you're not selling the whole story. And now Toys R Us Kids says, please know I'm a silent watcher and I speak respectfully and I'm attacked. And let's see. And then Tracy said, I thought her sister had said it was a duplex. I heard it somewhere. Okay, Tracy, thanks for getting with the program here. Yes, that's common knowledge. That was reported over a month ago, but now Blowhorn Betty just is acting like it is her knowledge, and now you're acting like it's yours. Oh, Sam and Wendy would have had you over. It says, if I knew you were here, Ms. Betty, you could have stayed here and could have had a home-cooked meal. Well, Sam and Wendy, do you know that she requires $50 each meal? Would you have been able to have DoorDashed and gotten it there hot and fresh enough and worth $50? Because, that's what she requires. She wouldn't do that. That's below her. She wants to be served.
Has the dot on it. Like sometimes you can't even see the map. Like it's blank with a blue dot. And I was just freaking out. And I turned and I'm like, okay, well, I know I made this turn. And so I kept driving and just, not too fast, but, because I was monitoring, do I have enough GPS or enough, because you can't drive too fast. Because if you get that perfect spot, you got to stop. You got to stop and capitalize on the moment. Like,
and what?
I got 2 bars, stop. And then it's like, when I stop, you never stop right at the 2 bars. So now you got to back the car up a little bit, right? And you're like,
Well, you shouldn't have been here. You weren't supposed to be here.
That part, and it only, but see, it seems like it's like eternity when that happens. It's only like 2 or 3 minutes. It's only like a 2 or 3 minute, right? But it feels like it lasted forever. But I obviously made it. I obviously made it to my room, and I'm obviously gonna wake up. I better set my alarm. Gosh, I slept through my alarm this morning. I was tired. I was so tired, guys.
From terrorizing people?
If you sleep on your side, I bet you hate your pillow, and this is why. They might be as fluffy as a cloud, but they just don't support your head, so you double.
You have a lot of commercials. I do too because I'm trying to make my. And you know what? Somebody gave me a $20 super chat, so it looks like I might be getting my first check from YouTube ever. So for my whole year of work on YouTube and what I'm like 270 videos and what am I at with my watch hours? I'm really good with my watch hours and everything else because I have amazing subs that love me putting them to sleep with my voice. And so I think that with that $20 super chat that lady gave me, it's going to put me to $106. So I should be getting my first check. So that'll be awesome. I feel so bad for all of the ads that are on mine, but I'm trying to make a buck because I'm trying to justify um, having a channel and all that I put into it because I did not make everybody feel bad for being on my channel like eBeggy Grifter does. I see here. Okay. Are we done? We can skip the ads. All right. That does look like a nice pillar, though. Look at that pillar. Looks like a nice pillar.
2, 3, no, 2, 2:30, and 3. So I'll have my alarm going off every half hour until my butt is up out of bed. Last thing I want to do is miss my flight. That is the last thing I want to do. But it was a learning. It was definitely interesting being out there, and that's why I like going out there because I get a whole different perspective about something that I do if I'm sitting home reading somebody else's work. Like right, like anybody can go on Google and type in, Maddie Kingsbury and regurgitate everything they're reading. Anybody can do that.
Okay, but what? When you do it, you're special because you act like you discovered it. And now is Notre Dame. Just stop. We all have the ability to scroll up and see your comment was what laud to Toys R Us question. So just stop. And then everybody in here is now talking about that and about Toys R Us saying, Notre, I asked and I got attacked. Sorry. And then look at this. They're like, she apologized, Toys R Us. And oh my God, coffee is my curse word. When did Madeline go missing? This case is new to me. Oh my God. Okay, Betty, you're not doing a good job of talking about what you're supposed to be talking about. You have this tagged about Maddie Kingsbury, but you have not even given your audience the basics. Like, she disappeared March 31st. Her and her significant other dropped the children off at daycare. They both went back to the apartment reportedly, but that's not necessarily even proven as there wasn't anybody who saw that. Next thing we know, she's not there to pick up the kids. Neither is he. Okay, let's get into this. Let's do this. Let's talk about the case. Come on.
I don't like using other people's work. I mean, you use it as a guide, but you don't make it your own. You want to. What is that?
What?
Is Notre Dame back in here?
Notre Dame, right on. Score, score, score.
Notre Dame, I just blocked you. So if you're going to keep coming in, I'm going to block you again. I don't want you here. You've lost your status of being able to come in here. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Go back and make another channel. See you in 20 more minutes. Actually, I'll be done by then. But no, you did come in here to stir up stuff because you needlessly, and you kept going and going and going. Normal people don't do that. We
So
adult here. You're
44
acting like a
guys
teenager.
said
You're acting like a
nothing.
kid. We don't need your kind over here. Go back over to the cockroach channels. Go back over wherever you came from. I don't care. If I know you personally, I don't care. You don't come over here stirring up crap in my house. So just move on. Just move on. So we're done. And I don't want if we see Notre Dame back in here, block. My mods block. I know.
Just block.
Well, hello, old Rusty Kettle Ranch. I don't know if I said too long of a word. My chest is sunburned. I've been
it's
watching,
not.
but too lazy to
It's
find my
showing
phone.
all
Sending
red like
love
a
on this
lizard.
Mother's Day. Oh, thank
You're
you. Sweet.
angry.
That's so sweet.
Yes.
Well, I can't tell whether you're.
What kind of lizard is that gets all red underneath their double chin and chesticle area? What is that called? Is it when they get angry or is it when they get horny? I can't remember. One of the two, but it happens with her when she's angry. Or, well, God, horny, who knows?
A boy or girl. But if you're a girl and you have kids, I just want to tell you, I'm sure thinking of you. Happy Mother's Day for all you beautiful moms out there. Coffee is my curse word. Hi, Betty. What does it say? Will you be live for Coffee Club? And no, no, yeah, no.
Nope.
I'm
It's
going to
not
be
gonna
up.
happen.
Well,
Nope. Oh God, now they're
No.
back to Happy Mother's Day. Oh no.
if I do a live, it's going to be probably while I'm waiting
Oh,
for
God.
the plane. I do have a layover, so I might go live
Wow.
then. But if you guys don't see me live by noon, I won't be live tomorrow. Unless I get a wild hair up my butt. And I decide to go live when I get home. But I don't see that being the case because I got a lot of soaked clothes and soaked clothes with mud. I mean, I've got bags of stuff having to wrap them up so it doesn't make
Why
anything
would
else
you have
dirty.
clothes soaked in mud?
I got a lot of cleaning to do. The good news is,
Why?
guys, if you remember correctly, I cleaned at least when I get home, everything's gonna be clean. Remember? I took that whole entire day to clean the house. So at
You live
least,
by
at least,
yourself.
At least. Well, except my bed because I didn't have time to wash my bedding. So the bed needs when I get home, I'll probably have to wash it. Oh, well, it's clean now. It's fine. I'm gonna have to wash the bed tomorrow. But everything else got clean. Bathroom's clean, kitchen's clean, living room's clean. Office is still getting put back together. I'm almost done though. I got to finish cleaning out one closet, and the office will be put back
What
together. I'm not
about
sure it's going to be put
Maddie?
back. I want a different desk. That's just all there is to it. I want a different desk in there. But either way, and I've got to move the swag kit from the fan. I got to move the swag kit from one receptacle to the other, so it's out of the background. And then I think we'll be done. And I can put everything back together. And I got one more filing cabinet to move. So I've got the closet, one more filing cabinet to move, and the swag kit, and we'll be back in.
I sped her up to 175 and she still said nothing in 44 minutes. Nothing. She said nothing that is not out there that was not. Well, I read it all off more than a month ago.
We'll be back in the office. So we'll absolutely be back in the office.
Oh
I
my
want
God,
one
not
in
another
every
ad.
color, please. I've been tagged so many
Honestly,
times in
what has she
this
said
dress.
here?
Visiting Maxi
What has
dress
she
that has
said
the
about
built-in
Madeline Kingsbury here that anybody couldn't glean?
So yeah, and to keep that person, and actually, we need to be screenshotting everything that person says.
Oh,
In
yes.
here, outside of here, anything you see that
Oh,
see that
yes.
person for all my mods,
Screenshot
it has to be screenshot.
Oh, yes.
Every little thing.
Do it. Yes.
Everything.
Yes, everything.
All right, guys. With that being said, I'm going to say goodnight, and I will see you guys. If you don't see me tomorrow sometime, I might pop in here just for like 10 minutes just to say hi, let you guys know I made it to the airport or whatnot, just so you guys don't have to worry. And yeah, I'll probably do that. And if I don't do that, I'll do it when I have my layover. I can pop in here for just a few. So I will be live sometime tomorrow, but it won't be very, very long. We won't be covering a case or anything like that. Unless some new information comes out, because we've got, the Brian Koberger. We're going to be, it's almost like we have a few days, and we're going to be watching the hearing with Brian Koberger, guys, like 10 a.m. on the 22nd. We're going to, 10 a.m., what is that, Mountain Time? I think it goes Eastern, Central, Mountain, Pacific, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's Mountain Time. But 10 a.m. Mountain Time, which would be, I think, 12.
Then look at this. Now they're all, good night. Good night. They went from hello, hello, hello to, oh no, she's mad. Don't ask her questions. Don't ask her questions to good night, good night, good night. Nothing about Maddie Kingsbury. So in this 44 minutes, she said nothing. She thinks that it's her brilliant discovery that Maddie and her significant other were living in a duplex, and that he said that he was doing errands. Of course, he wasn't doing errands. We know that. That's why the searches are going, and that's why the children are in protective. Well, they're in foster, but it's to keep them safe right now. Um, there's some backstory, obviously, and I don't know why she's acting like, holy, she's got frog eyes. Ooh. All right. Well, I just wanted to prove here that nothing that she said made any sense. That if you look at the weather reports for May 14th, I mean, like I say, I'm not too far away. It was really nice here. I didn't see any tornado warnings or anything like that, but I mean, they can pop up. But there were tornadoes in Iowa, and there was also a Trump rally that got canceled in Iowa because of the inclement weather. So I think she was trying to go to two Trump rallies, um, and maybe the layover here in Minnesota so she could cover her ass and say, oh, yes, this is what I did. We're going to dig in and we're going to delve in them. She doesn't do anything. It's just if anybody dares to ask a question, then it's like, okay, we're gonna be checking them out. We're gonna be getting the information and everything. Then what is she gonna do when she gets your name? Then what? She calls the cops, files a lawsuit, makes up stuff, says that that we're following her, people are following her. What what is she doing? Why is this a channel that has 25,000, 24,000 subscribers, and she gets money to travel all over and $50 a meal? What is she doing? I don't get it. Like I say, she struck my channel, so I can only assume it was out of love because she wanted to teach me to be just like her. And I just don't see what I'm doing wrong, and I don't see what she's doing right. I mean, honestly, I will put my video up for Madeline Kingsbury. I'll put it back in my community page so it's up on top. I post all of the news releases, the press releases that come out on my community page. I have explained I do have COVID brain, so I am kind of slow talking when I'm when I'm talking about just the case and I'm reading the things. Sometimes my brain will just kind of stop. So go ahead and feel free to speed me up too. So I'll put that up, and everything that she covered here is definitely something that there's nothing here that she said that isn't common knowledge that I didn't at least discover and delve into on my own when I procured the documents myself and read them over a month ago. So if you think that you're the only one who doesn't get anything out of what she's saying, it's not you, it's her. So, with that being said, thank you so much for listening, and I will let you go. And again, this is my open letter to Betty going, what? What? What did I miss? Betty? Grifter? All right. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.